In this life, everyone, to some extent, has been drawn into the whirlpool of fame, wealth, and material desires. We think that having more money, receiving more praise, or attaining higher status will bring happiness. Yet the more we chase, the heavier, more exhausted, and uneasy our hearts feel. This is precisely why the Buddha taught us: do not cling to fame or wealth. Do not bind yourself to fleeting things. Fame is like a passing wind. It exists today and may be gone tomorrow. Material wealth is the same. It can be accumulated a lifetime, but in a single illness or unforeseen event, we realize we cannot take anything with us. What remains is either a peaceful mind or a restless one. When we cling tightly to external things, greed, anger, and ignorance easily arise. We become prone to frustration, resentment, and comparison. In doing so, we lock ourselves in a dark room, unable to see the light of peace. Thank you all for listening to today's sharing. If you enjoy moments of tranquility, subscribe to the channel to let's practice letting go and finding peace every day. On the other hand, when we gently release attachment to fame and wealth, our soul becomes like a bird set free from its cage, flying freely in the vast sky. This does not mean rejecting life or abandoning everything, but rather appreciating what we have without letting it control us. Money and fame, if we possess them, can be seen as tools for doing good, helping others, and sharing love. Then they become seeds sown into the soil of joy, rather than chains that bind. You see, true peace does not come from external things, but from a heart that knows contentment, knows how to let go, and knows how to live fully in each moment. A smile, a warm meal, a loving handhold. Sometimes these are worth more than countless riches. So, practice letting go gently. Do not cling to praise or criticism. Do not let money disturb the rhythm of your heart. Simply live authentically, love sincerely, and sow goodness. And even amidst ordinary life, happiness is within reach. Fame and wealth are like clouds. They come and go. Nothing lasts forever. People often get caught in this cycle, forgetting themselves and the inner peace within. We chase after compliments, awards, and titles without realizing that at that very moment, our soul has become heavy, bound by ambition and the desire for recognition. The fame and wealth that seem to bring happiness are in fact just a thin veil covering the true light of the mind. The Buddha taught that letting go is the path to liberation. Letting go does not mean rejecting or neglecting everything, but rather not letting them dominate the mind. When fame, money, or status are no longer the main goals, we realize that true peace does not depend on the outside. It is always present in each breath and in every quiet moment. Then everything external becomes light, like a gentle breeze, no longer burdening the weary mind. In reality, fame and wealth always come and go. Those who admire us today may forget us tomorrow. Wealth in our hands today may vanish tomorrow. Clinging to these impermanent things inevitably brings suffering. But when we understand and accept the impermanence of all things, the heart softens, becomes light, like flowing water without force. Looking deeply within, we see that happiness is not in having more or less, but in cherishing what we have, appreciating ourselves, and valuing those around us. Healing does not mean forgetting hardships, but recognizing them gently and letting them pass. When the mind knows how to let go, realizing that fame and wealth are fleeting, we begin to love and forgive more easily, for others and for ourselves. Mistakes, regrets, and disappointments no longer weigh us down, but become precious lessons that help us grow and find serenity. Living unbound by fame and wealth is also living more authentically with oneself. Without the need to show off, compete, or compare, we can slow down, listen to our heartbeat, hear laughter, and feel the breath of nature. We realize that a simple meal, a quiet afternoon, a kind glance, seemingly small things, hold the power to heal the soul. Then we understand that happiness does not come from outside, but from connection with ourselves and the world around us. The Buddha taught that impermanence is the nature of all things. Everything changes, including fame, wealth, and status. When we live with this awareness, we no longer fear loss or suffer when things change. The mind is freed from the chains of desire, bringing a deep peace like a calm, still lake. Every passing moment becomes precious. Each present moment becomes a shining gem in life. Letting go also helps us connect with others more sincerely. When we no longer weigh fame or material things heavily, we see the true value in every person, their smiles, love, and care. We learn to give without expecting in return, to love without conditions, and from this, happiness spreads not only within ourselves, but also across our relationships. Fame and wealth come and go, but a peaceful mind is eternal. When we know how to slow down, appreciate each moment, and release what does not belong to us, life becomes light, profound, and full of love. Each step becomes meditation, each breath becomes joy, and each glance becomes a connection with the vast universe. So, let fame and wealth drift away like clouds and smoke, allowing the soul to be free. Letting go does not make us lose anything. On the contrary, it opens the door to peace, happiness, and a fulfilled life. When we view life through this lens, we see that the most precious thing is not what we can hold on to, but a heart that knows love, knows peace, and knows how to live authentically. Material possessions are merely tools, not the ultimate goal of life. We are often swept up in the hectic pace of life, chasing fame, wealth, houses, and cars, as if simply owning enough will make life complete. Yet in truth, these things are only vessels, small boats on the long river of time, carrying us forward but never being the final destination. One morning, when sunlight streams through the window and falls on an old floor, we can feel warmth and simple joy that money cannot buy. A warm cup of tea, the sound of birds outside, a genuine smile from a loved one. These moments truly bring peace to the heart. There are days when people rush after luxury items, thinking that possessing them will bring greater happiness. But in the end, the emptiness remains. A new phone, an elegant outfit, an expensive car, all are material, and material things age, break, or disappear over time. True happiness does not lie there. It lies in how we perceive, in how we love, and in how we appreciate the small yet genuine things around us. In everyday life, small stories carry profound lessons. A person buying fresh vegetables at the market encounters an elderly street vendor, looks into the kind eyes, and feels the simple joy of sharing. Just this tiny moment can warm the heart more than any luxury item. Or when a child returns home after a tiring day, sees a hot family meal, and hears laughter, the sense of peace cannot be measured by money. The principle we must remember is, material things are merely tools. Happiness resides in the heart. Not all good things can be bought. Genuine experiences, warm relationships, and moments of peace are priceless. Recognizing this, one learns to release endless desires, to live more slowly, and to see beauty in simple things. A gentle rain, the rustling of leaves in the wind, the moonlight glistening on a roof, these are invisible gifts of life. Not everyone is perceptive enough to notice. Sometimes, try putting your phone down, sitting in silence, breathing deeply, and listening to your own breath. In that moment, you realize that happiness is not about chasing or possessing, but about the ability to feel and fully live each moment. Material comfort can ease the body, but cannot bring peace to the soul. It is like a warm coat in winter, protecting the body, but it cannot warm the heart if the soul is empty. Another important lesson is this: when we let go of what is not truly important, life becomes lighter. People often say, holding on tightly is safe, but in reality, clinging too hard only makes us tired, anxious, and blind to the precious things around us. Relax, release, yet still cherish. This is the wise way to live. Watching a child play in the park, laughing freely at simple joys, we see that great happiness often hides in small things, requiring neither money nor fame. One evening, on a quiet village road, when the sunset paints the sky gold, people pause, watch children running with puppies, and realize that life is beautiful when we take the time to observe. Simple emotions, kind eyes, warm embraces, all are invisible treasures that chasing material things would never reveal. And remember, living slowly does not mean being lazy. Living slowly is knowing how to cherish each moment, to focus on what truly matters, and to nurture the soul. When the heart is rich and the mind peaceful, the amount of material possessions no longer matters. They become tools to support life, not rulers of happiness. Finally, the deepest truth is love, sharing, and compassion. These make a person whole. A neighbor helping someone in difficulty, sharing a meal with friends when someone is in need, a timely word of encouragement, all carry more value than any material wealth. Living with an open heart and appreciating small things, we see the world as more beautiful and ourselves lighter and more peaceful. Material things age, break, and vanish, but spiritual values, moments of peace, and sincere emotions remain. Live slowly, cherish every breath, every smile, every glance. Let go of meaningless desires and allow your soul to be free. Then you will realize that happiness does not come from possession, but from how you feel, how you love, and how fully you live each moment. In the continuous flow of life, people often chase external values, money, fame, status. We easily forget that these are fleeting, coming and going, never lasting forever. We are busy accumulating wealth, comparing ourselves to others, and overlook a simple yet profound truth. A peaceful heart is true wealth. When the mind is at peace, everything external, whether little or much, becomes enough. A heart unshaped by ambition, unpulled by endless worries, experiences life lightly and freely. Peace is not passivity or surrender, but the ability to perceive everything with acceptance and understanding. We no longer fear loss, nor are we tormented by failures or criticism. Every moment becomes an opportunity to love, to appreciate, to breathe lightly, and to feel our presence in each breath. The Buddha taught that true wealth does not lie in external possessions, but in the serenity and freedom of the soul. When the mind is not controlled by desires, when it no longer compares itself with others, everything around us becomes calm. Even amidst difficulties and challenges, when the mind is peaceful, we maintain clarity, balance, and recognize the value of each experience. This peace is a priceless treasure, a wealth that no one can take away. Living peacefully is also a path of healing. When the mind is calm, the wounds of the heart and the scars of the spirit are gradually soothed. We learn to forgive others and ourselves. We realize that pain, disappointment, and mistakes are simply lessons that help us grow, expanding and softening the soul. In peace, the heart is no longer narrow, no longer anxious, but open to love, joy, and even simple yet meaningful aspects of life. A truly rich heart does not need abundant material wealth, titles, or praise. It only needs to cherish the present, know how to love and care, and live authentically and freely. When we learn this, our relationships become lighter and our affections more genuine. We give without expecting in return, love without conditions, and this brings a deep, lasting happiness that surpasses any transient external possession. Fame, wealth, and status, all are impermanent. Even when we have everything, if the soul is not at peace, we feel emptiness, loneliness, and lack. Conversely, even with very little, if the mind is serene, we feel complete, happy, and fully alive. Peace is the kind of wealth that no money can buy, a treasure anyone can cultivate if they look inward and nurture their soul. Healing and peace also allow us to live more fully in each moment. A simple smile, a tender glance, a quiet afternoon, all become more precious than any fame or material good. When the mind is at peace, every moment is sacred, every breath brings joy, and every action becomes an act of love. Life need not rush or hurry to be complete and meaningful. Therefore, true wealth lies not outside, but within. A peaceful mind is priceless, a source of healing and enduring happiness. When the mind is nourished by peace, compassion, and mindfulness, life becomes gentle, calm, and full of love. There is no anxiety, no fear, no unease, only freedom, serenity, and a heart that knows how to love, live, and savor simple yet genuine happiness. Fame comes and goes, wealth fades, and status changes, but a peaceful mind is eternal. When we cherish this peace, we are truly rich, truly living, and truly understanding the deepest value of life. Peace of mind is happiness, wealth, a treasure no one can take away, and the path to liberation, to calm and serenity in every present moment. Those obsessed with fame and wealth are always uneasy, fearful of losing, never satisfied. When a heart is controlled by reputation, money, or temporary positions, it is like walking on a narrow bridge, always afraid of the wind, afraid of slipping, afraid of losing what is held. Their joy is never complete because there is always a constant worry. Will I keep it? Will someone take it from me? Meanwhile, those who live contentedly with a serene mind find happiness even in simple things, for they understand that life's value does not lie in what can be bought or possessed. A small story of a simple morning illustrates this clearly. A person goes to the market to buy a few necessities for the family, but feels anxious about work, about keeping their position, about earning praise. Seeing street vendors smile gently, unburdened by material concerns or fame, they feel a sense of relief, naturally realizing the futility of their worry. Those simple smiles have nothing to lose, yet bring profound joy. People obsessed with fame and wealth often sacrifice too much to maintain a perfect outward appearance, to acquire more, to prove their worth. They forget that life is truly fulfilled only when they let go of what is unimportant. In work, they focus on positions, degrees, achievements, yet in the family, happiness quietly slips away. A rushed family meal, a conversation interrupted by a phone, these moments pass and never return. Fame and wealth cannot fill the emptiness in the heart, nor can they buy time or peace. On some afternoons, when sunlight filters through the leaves and shines upon a quiet village road, people stroll slowly and notice the small but precious things around them. A child playing with a puppy, the clear sound of laughter, a gentle breeze brushing through hair, a neighbor offering a piece of bread or a warm smile. All are moments that cannot be bought with money or gained through titles. Those obsessed with fame and wealth rarely notice these things, as their minds are always preoccupied with holding, comparing, and competing. A person walking down the street may see an elderly individual leaning on a cane, moving slowly with a gentle smile on a weathered face, and realize that they are living a serene life, free from the pursuit of fame and fortune. They do not worry about what others say, nor fear losing what is not truly needed. Meanwhile, those rushing after status and wealth, eyes fixed ahead, hands clutching what they deem important, feel weary, anxious, and unsettled. The life lesson here is simple yet profound. Fame and wealth are temporary and cannot bring lasting peace. Understanding this teaches one to slow down, cherish ordinary moments, and recognize that happiness is not found in possessions or praise, but in the peace of the heart, in the way we love and share with others. A simple meal, an honest conversation, a gesture of help, all are more valuable than applause or fleeting recognition. Those obsessed with fame and wealth often fear loss, as they place all their value in external things. Yet life is impermanent. Everything changes. Everything can be lost. Recognizing this impermanence lightens the heart, allowing one to live fully in each moment. A broken car, an old house, a changed position, all are natural in the flow of time. Only by letting go can one find peace. Another story of simplicity illustrates this well. Someone happens upon an elderly person tending flowers in their yard, caring for each plant daily, unconcerned with who notices or praises them. The flowers bloom under the sun, filling the air with fragrance, prompting passersby to stop and admire. The elder seeks no fame or recognition, yet their soul overflows with happiness and serenity. Meanwhile, those rushing after fame and fortune often overlook such beautiful moments, too preoccupied with holding, achieving, or surpassing others. Thus, the life lesson is to learn to let go, to know sufficiency, and to recognize the true value of life. When the soul is at peace, one sees that what they have is already enough, and happiness is no longer a luxury. Love, sharing, and simple moments, these are the true treasures. Fame, money, and power are only means, not ends. Realizing this lightens the soul and makes life more fulfilling. Finally, those obsessed with fame and wealth remain restless, anxious to hold on, fearful of loss, never satisfied because they place all their value in temporary things. Those who let go, live with a serene mind and know sufficiency, find happiness in simple things, discovering peace in each breath, each smile, each glance. Life then becomes truly beautiful, and the heart light like a spring breeze, carrying no worry, only joy and calm. True happiness is not as distant as we often imagine. It is not always tied to money, fame, or grand achievements beyond reach. True happiness often comes from the simplest things: a warm meal with loved ones, a familiar smile, quiet afternoon chatting with friends. These small moments, when fully lived, bring a peace that no treasure in the world can match. The Buddha taught that happiness is not far away. It lies in the present, in every breath, in every step. When the mind knows how to pause and appreciate what exists, we realize our own wealth. A simple meal, yet filled with love. A gentle word, yet warming the entire heart. Yet in the whirlwind of striving, we often miss these moments, thinking happiness must come from somewhere else, from something greater. Healing sometimes begins simply by returning to the simple things around us. When weary, just having someone sit quietly and listen can soothe the heart. When in pain, a sincere embrace can ease half the sorrow. The human heart is fragile, yet easily warmed by love and presence. We do not need grand words or expensive gifts. Sometimes a familiar glance, a genuine smile, is enough to heal the wounds within. In the light of Buddhist teaching, this simple happiness is called knowing sufficiency. Knowing sufficiency does not mean stopping or accepting poverty, but recognizing that what we already have is precious. Those who know sufficiency find joy even in the smallest things, are no longer swept into comparison, feel no lack, and are not driven by endless desire. When the mind knows sufficiency, a simple meal of vegetables tastes sweet, and a modest home becomes a place of peace. Life teaches us that the more people chase after luxury, the more easily they forget simple values. We strive to work harder to obtain great things, yet lose warm moments with family, missed smiles, and the comfort of holding hands. One day, when we look back, we realize that true treasure does not lie in accumulated wealth, but in the memories of loving moments that have passed. Simple happiness is also the source of inner peace. When the mind is calm, even the smallest things become meaningful. We feel gratitude for a blooming flower in the garden, for the morning birdsong, and even for challenges that help us grow. In this way, we become gentler, more compassionate, and spread peace to those around us. A familiar smile can chase away the clouds in the heart. A warm meal can bring people closer together. These things are far from trivial. They are the seeds of lasting happiness. And when we learn to cherish them, we sow within our hearts the seeds of love, gratitude, and peace. This is the true path to healing and genuine happiness. Simple happiness does not need to be sought far and wide. We only need to pause, take a deep breath, and open our hearts to receive it. Do not wait for grand things to smile, because sometimes it is the small moments we remember forever. When we live with contentment and appreciation for the present, we hold true wealth, the richness of a peaceful mind and a loving heart. Without attachment to wealth, we become light like clouds, like the wind. Wealth is only external. It comes and goes, like a river flowing through a valley or clouds drifting across the sky. When the mind clings to possessions, it is carrying a heavy bag on the shoulder, walking laboriously, afraid of losing it, dropping it, or having it taken by others. But when we let go, we find true freedom and realize that happiness is not in holding, but in living lightly and freely in the midst of life. Some people worry all day about holding on to wealth, gathering more and more, yet the more they gather, the more restless they feel. Like someone filling a granary with rice, yet lying awake each night, fearing fire, pests, or theft. Meanwhile, some people have little, yet know sufficiency and cherish what they have. They eat a bowl of hot rice with pickled vegetables and find it delicious because their hearts are light, unburdened by attachment or calculation. One afternoon on a narrow village road, a farmer returns home, clothes muddy but eyes bright. On the cart are only a few bundles of vegetables and some sweet potatoes, yet their face radiates peace. In their heart, they feel no lack and need nothing more. Beside them, a wealthy merchant rides in a luxury car, yet sits weighed down by worry, calculating every contract and profit. One has everything but an uneasy heart. The other has little, yet a free spirit. This is the difference between attachment and non-attachment to wealth. When we do not cling, the mind opens, like clouds drifting in the sky, light and unburdened. like the wind sweeping across the fields, free and unattached. Wealth can bring comfort, but cannot bring peace. Peace comes only when the heart is freed from desire and the fear of loss. Those who know how to let go live lightly, calmly, and are not swept away by the currents of life. In everyday life, we can see many stories that illustrate this. A child playing with a fallen leaf in the yard, innocent and joyful. For them, happiness does not require expensive toys. A single leaf is enough to create a whole world. Adults, meanwhile, often chase after new things, constantly shopping, yet their joy fades quickly, forcing them to keep searching and clinging. When the mind clings to wealth, joy is fleeting and anxiety follows. An elderly person may live in a simple, small house without wealth or valuable possessions, yet every day they sit drinking tea, admiring flowers, chatting with neighbors, smiling gently. Passers-by recognize the peaceful light in their eyes. Their wealth is not money, but the freedom in their heart. They live like clouds, like wind, light, carefree, unburdened. The profound lesson here is that wealth should be seen only as a means, not an end. If present, it can be used to live well, help, and share. If lost, we remain at ease, understanding that nothing truly belongs to us forever. Even this body will one day leave us, let alone external things. Non-attachment to wealth does not mean denying the value of labor or effort. We still work, still create, but without clinging. We do our best but remain unattached. If we have, we use. If we do not, we let go. Life becomes much lighter. A person who grows flowers does not hope to sell them for a high price, only that the blooms delight passersby. This is a life of non-attachment. A person cooking a delicious meal does not seek praise, only hopes everyone feels warmth. This is also a life of non-attachment. And when we do not cling, we are able to love more. Without holding for ourselves, we are ready to share with others. A shared meal, an encouraging word, a helping hand, all become easy. Those who cling tightly often fear loss, closing their hearts. Those who let go have open hearts, live harmoniously, and find happiness in giving itself. In moments of stillness, sitting by the porch and listening to the wind rustle through the leaves, we may ask ourselves, we have felt sorrow over losing something, yet in the end, we still live, still move forward, still smile. What seems so important to lose turns out to be like a passing breeze. When we realize this, the heart naturally feels light. By not clinging to wealth, we can see life as truly vast. We can lift our heads to watch the clouds, listen to the wind, and feel each peaceful breath. Then we understand that happiness does not lie in treasures outside, but in the freedom of the mind. Those who know how to let go no longer fear, no longer worry, for they have discovered an eternal treasure, serenity. Wealth can make the body comfortable, but it cannot do the same for the soul. The mind only becomes truly light when it does not cling or grasp. In that state, we are free like clouds, like the wind, untroubled, unbound, and simply profoundly happy. The body is also impermanent. We may care for, preserve, and nurture it each day, but no one can escape aging, sickness, and ultimately death. If even the body, the closest part of us, cannot be kept forever, then all the more so money, power, or fame outside. Yet most people spend their lives chasing, accumulating, and striving for things they can never truly hold. The Buddha taught that all phenomena are impermanent. Everything changes moment by moment. Nothing lasts forever. Our body may be healthy today, but weak tomorrow. Someone beside us today may be gone tomorrow. Money in hand today may vanish tomorrow. When we deeply understand impermanence, we see that clinging to these things only exhausts the mind. Letting go brings lightness. Recognizing the true nature of life allows us to cherish the present and live sincerely. The impermanence of the body also reminds us of the value of each moment. Time passes, hair turns gray, skin wrinkles, unavoidable for anyone. But instead of fearing or resisting, we can smile, accept, and use this limited time to sow goodness, to love, to live a meaningful life. When the mind learns to release attachment, we clearly see the presence of love, peace, and even happiness in every breath. Money, power, and fame may make us proud, providing momentary satisfaction, yet they can also become burdens, making the mind uneasy and fearful of loss. Sometimes we think the more we have, the happier we are. But in truth, the more we have, the more anxious we become. True happiness does not lie in power or wealth, but in the freedom of the mind. When unbound and unconditioned, we are truly at peace. Healing the mind also begins with recognizing impermanence. When we know that the body, money, and power are not lasting, we learn to let go of anger and resentment. We forgive others more easily, understanding that all will eventually pass. We love more, realizing that no one stays with us forever. We cherish simple moments, knowing they are precious treasures in our finite life. Those who understand impermanence live more lightly. They no longer dwell on praise or criticism, no longer cling to what is not theirs. They spend time nurturing inner peace, listening to loved ones, caring for themselves, and sowing seeds of goodness in life. This is true wealth, the wealth of a serene mind, untouched by the shifting currents of life. In Buddhist teachings, death is not a fearful end, but a natural part of impermanence. Knowing that death will come, we do not live in anxiety but live more fully. We love more, let go faster, and feel deeper gratitude for each remaining breath. This is the deepest path to healing, healing through acceptance and awareness. The body is impermanent, money and power are even more so. Therefore, what matters is not clinging to them, but using them as means. Money can be used to help others, power can create communal benefit, the body can sow seeds of compassion. Living this way, even as things change, the mind's peace remains untouched. You see, true wealth is not in how much we have, but in whether the mind is at peace. Understanding impermanence, we release attachments. When we know how to let go, we are free. When we are free, we are happy. And that peace is the greatest treasure a lifetime can hold. Love and sharing are the true legacies we leave behind. Money, possessions, houses, all will decay, age, and disappear with time. Even our own bodies cannot be kept forever. But what we plant in the hearts of others through love and sharing will endure, like seeds falling to the earth, sprouting green and continuing to spread. Some large houses, filled with valuable things, remain empty once the owners leave. In contrast, small, simple homes inhabited by those who left behind countless warm memories through kindness, hugs, and encouragement remain cherished. Those who remain remember and value them as if that love has never disappeared. A simple story from the countryside. There was an elderly person who, every afternoon, would pick a few vegetables from the garden and give them to neighbors. The vegetables were worth little in money, but in the eyes of those who received them, they were warmth, sincere joy. The elder left no grand wealth, yet the entire village remembered them with love. That act of sharing is an invisible treasure, more lasting than any material possession. In daily life, we often witness small things full of humanity. Someone stops their vehicle to help another fix a broken car on the road. A hand reaches out when someone falls. A portion of food is shared with the hungry. Such seemingly minor actions hold the power to warm hearts, comforting and supporting those who receive them. Material wealth may be lost, but memories of kindness remain etched in the heart forever. Looking back, we see that the people who leave the deepest marks are not the wealthiest, but those who love the most. Some pass away, yet hundreds or thousands remember them, speak of them with gratitude. Not because they left behind vast assets, but because they lived fully with their hearts. They gave without calculation, shared without expecting return. That is true wealth. One rainy afternoon, someone stranded on the road is invited to take shelter under a porch. A cup of hot tea is poured, a simple conversation takes place, and from that, a beautiful bond is sown. Perhaps they will never meet again, but the memory of that kindness remains. It is like a small light, illuminating the soul in moments of loneliness and fatigue. This, too, is a form of wealth, unseen by the eye, unmeasurable by money, yet priceless. The profound truth lies here. Love does not vanish, it transfers from one person to another, spreading through every gesture, every word. When we plant a seed of goodness, we not only bring happiness to others, but also make our own hearts bloom. Those who know love live peacefully, unburdened by selfishness or rivalry. They are light, for their hands hold no greed while their hearts are full of love. One afternoon in the park, someone quietly feeds a flock of birds. Seeing this, a child runs over and sits nearby, smiling. The child needs nothing more. Witnessing kindness alone brings joy. Love works this way. It does not stop at the direct recipient, but spreads to all who are fortunate enough to see and hear it. It ripples outward like a stone cast into a pond. Some people leave behind enormous sums in banks, yet soon it is divided and spent, and few remember it. Others leave gentle teachings, a selfless heart, and even after many years, people still speak of them with respect and gratitude. That is the difference between material wealth and spiritual wealth. Love and sharing are the only things that never run dry. The more we give, the more we have. The human heart does not impoverish through love. Rather, it opens wider, becomes richer. Those who share live in a world filled with humanity. For what they sow, they reap. In the final years of life, what warms us is not the luxurious items once possessed, but the memories of loving and being loved. It might be a smile from a loved one, a hand held in weakness, or a word of thanks from someone helped. These become small flames, warming us even in old age or sickness. Therefore, in life, the most precious thing is not to accumulate much, but to leave behind love, to leave behind sharing. Tomorrow, we may no longer be here, but the love we sow today will continue to be carried by others, continuing to spread. That is the immortality of a human life. Ultimately, true wealth does not lie in safes, land deeds, or bank accounts, but in the hearts of others. When we pass through this life, what remains is the mark of love we leave behind. That is eternal wealth. Fame at first seems noble, a dazzling light everyone wants. Yet often it is like an invisible chain, binding the freedom of the mind. People think that by achieving fame, they will be happy, respected, admired. But the closer one gets to fame, the more pressure, worry, and fear of losing what has been gained appear. The Buddha once taught, fame and gain are like flowers floating in the void, seen but not grasped. Fame is merely an appearance. Praised today, criticized tomorrow, celebrated today, forgotten tomorrow. When the mind clings to fame, it lives in constant unease, never truly free. Fame can make people live according to others' expectations. We fear judgment, shame, losing our current position. Instead of being ourselves, we live under the mask fame imposes. The soul is no longer at ease, but full of worry and tension. What we thought was light turns out to be a rope binding the wings of freedom. When we see fame in the light of impermanence, we understand it is just smoke. Fame comes and goes, nothing lasts. The truly wise do not let their minds become slaves to it. They may use fame as a means to do good, to help others, but never to bind their hearts. Like someone holding a torch, they know to use it to illuminate, but not foolishly cling to the flame and burn themselves. Healing the soul also begins with letting go of attachment to fame. When we are no longer preoccupied with praise or criticism, we can truly listen to ourselves and live in peace. Serenity does not come from the eyes of others, but from living in alignment with our own heart. When we live authentically with love and sow seeds of goodness in life, we feel content whether or not anyone recognizes it. Those who chase fame often feel exhausted, but those who know enough and know when to pause live with ease. A leisurely afternoon, sitting with a warm cup of tea, talking with loved ones, can bring more happiness than countless applause from outside. A friendly smile, a sincere word of care, are worth more than any superficial admiration. In the principles of life, the freedom of the mind is the most valuable treasure. This freedom exists only when we are not bound by fame, gain, or endless desire. It is the foundation of happiness, a lasting wealth that no external change can take away. Fame, when seen rightly, is like a passing breeze. When we release attachment to it, the soul becomes light and open. We can fully live each moment, enjoy simple joys, and be grateful for what we have. We no longer struggle to please others, nor are we obsessed with gain or loss, winning or losing. We simply live authentically, fully, and with love. That is true happiness. You see, fame is not inherently bad, but if we let it become a chain, we lose our own freedom. Let fame, if it exists, serve as a bridge to do good, to sow love, and help others. Most importantly, do not let it control the mind. Only when the mind is truly at peace, when the heart is genuinely free, can we touch enduring happiness, a happiness that no one can take away. Comparison and rivalry make us forget our true value. Life is short, yet we often waste time looking at others, seeing what they have, what they achieve, and measuring ourselves against them. Then our hearts lose peace. We feel small, life seems insufficient, and what we have seems insignificant. A soul that was once pure becomes heavy with jealousy and insecurity. A farmer plowing his field early in the morning sees his neighbor's healthier land, stronger oxen, and feels sorrow for his own plot. But if he looks closely, he sees that his own land still sprouts and the rice will still bear grain in season. True value does not lie in being more or less than others, but in how devotedly we tend to our own work and how much we appreciate what belongs to us. In daily life, comparison is everywhere. Someone with a small car feels inferior when seeing luxury vehicles. A person in a modest home feels inadequate beside a mansion. Even at work, we sometimes strive not for the joy of labor, but to prove ourselves equal to others. This makes us weary. We run endlessly on the road of rivalry, forgetting the true meaning of happiness, to live as ourselves. Some children go to school with only an old book or simple clothes, yet their eyes shine when learning something new. Their joy is pure because it is untouched by comparison. Meanwhile, other children, given more by their parents, constantly look at their peers, measuring who has new things, who is praised more. Their joy becomes tainted, dependent on rivalry. Adults live similarly when always chasing comparison. Comparison makes us forget that each person is a unique flower. A lotus does not need to compete with a rose. A daisy does not envy a sunflower's brilliance. Each has its own beauty and enriches the world differently. People are the same. One may cook delicious meals, another sing beautifully, another care for and nurture a family. If we constantly compare ourselves to others' strengths, we never see our own true beauty. One afternoon, in a small garden, a mango tree, a jackfruit tree, and a guava tree grow together. If the guava keeps comparing itself to the mango, it feels sad because its fruit is small. If the mango envies the jackfruit, it feels disheartened because its fruit is not as large. But when the season comes, each tree gives its unique flavor: sweet mangoes, crisp guavas, golden jackfruit. They are different, yet all have value, enriching the summer. People are the same. Their true value is not in being like others, but in being themselves. The principle is here. In rivalry, we lose peace. In comparison, we forget what we already have. The wise are those who look within, recognize their true worth, and rejoice in what they accomplish. Happiness does not come from having more than others, but from knowing sufficiency and appreciating oneself. Healing the soul also begins with letting go of attachment to fame. When we are no longer preoccupied with praise or criticism, we can truly listen to ourselves and live in peace. Serenity does not come from the eyes of others, but from living in alignment with our own heart. When we live honestly with love and sow seeds of goodness into life, we feel fulfilled whether anyone notices or not. Those who relentlessly chase fame often feel exhausted, while those who know contentment and know when to pause live with ease. A leisurely afternoon, sitting with a warm cup of tea, conversing with loved ones, can bring greater happiness than 1,000 claps outside. A friendly smile, a sincere word of care is more valuable than any fleeting admiration. In the philosophy of life, the freedom of the mind is the most precious treasure. This freedom exists only when we are not bound by fame, gain, or endless desires. It is the foundation of true happiness, a lasting wealth that no external change can take away. Fame, when seen rightly, is just a passing breeze. When we release our attachment to it, the mind becomes light and open. We can fully live each moment, enjoy simple joys, and be grateful for what we have. We no longer have to strain ourselves to please anyone, nor be obsessed with loss or gain, winning or losing. We simply live authentically, fully, and with love. That is genuine happiness. You see, fame is not inherently bad, but if we let it become a chain, we lose our own freedom. Let fame, if it exists, be a bridge to do good, to sow love, and help others. Most importantly, do not let it control your mind. Only when the mind is truly at peace, when the heart is genuinely free, can we touch enduring happiness, a happiness that no one can take away. Comparison and rivalry make us forget our true value. Life is short, yet we often waste time looking at others, seeing what they have, what they achieve, and measuring ourselves against them. Then our hearts lose peace. We start to feel small, life seems insufficient, and what we have seems insignificant. A soul that was once pure becomes heavy with jealousy and insecurity. A farmer plowing his field early in the morning sees his neighbor's healthier land and stronger oxen and feels sad for his own plot. But if he looks closely, he will see that his own land still sprouts and the rice will still bear grain in season. True value does not lie in being more or less than others, but in how devotedly we tend to our own work and how much we appreciate what belongs to us. In daily life, comparison is everywhere. Someone with a small car feels inferior when seeing a luxury car. A person in a modest house feels inadequate beside a mansion. Even at work, we sometimes strive not for the joy of labor, but just to prove we are not worse than anyone else. This tires us. We run endlessly on the road of rivalry, forgetting the true meaning of happiness, to live as ourselves. Some children go to school with only an old book and simple clothes, yet their eyes shine when they learn something new. Their joy is pure because it is untouched by comparison. Meanwhile, other children, given more by their parents, constantly look at their peers, measuring who has new things, who is praised more. Their joy becomes tainted, dependent on rivalry. Adults live similarly when constantly chasing comparison. Comparison makes us forget that each person is a unique flower. The lotus does not compete with the rose. The daisy does not feel inferior to the sunflower. Each has its own fragrance and beauty, enriching life in different ways. People are the same. One may cook delicious meals, another sing beautifully, another care for and nurture a family. If we constantly compare ourselves to others' strengths, we will never see our own true beauty. One afternoon, in a small garden, a mango tree, a jackfruit tree, and a guava tree grow together. If the guava constantly compares itself to the mango, it will feel sad because its fruit is small. If the mango envies the jackfruit, it will feel disheartened because its fruit is not as large. But when the season comes, each tree brings its unique flavor. Sweet mangoes, crisp guavas, golden jackfruit. They are different, yet all have value, enriching the summer. People are the same. Our true value is not in being like anyone else, but in being ourselves. The principle is this: in rivalry, we lose peace. In comparison, we forget what we already have. The wise are those who look inward, recognize their true worth, and rejoice in what they accomplish. Happiness does not come from having more than others, but from knowing sufficiency and appreciating oneself. Some people grow quieter as they age. They speak little of their achievements, do not boast about wealth, and do not compete for superiority with others. Observing them, one senses a spreading peace. This is the power of humility. Humility is not self-deprecation, but an understanding of one's place, knowing contentment and living harmoniously with life. The humble have no need to prove themselves or wear a showy facade for admiration, for deep within, they have recognized their true value. Once, an old carpenter stepped out of a small house beside a bamboo grove. He had spent his life making tables and chairs. People would place orders, he would craft them, and upon delivery, he received modest payment. His home was never wealthy, yet it was always filled with laughter. Remarkably, though he worked with his hands, everyone in the village respected him, not because his furniture was the finest, but because he never spoke ill of anyone, never flaunted anything. When asked the secret to life, he simply smiled. I am small in this vast world. Living simply lightens the heart. Reflecting on it, those truly at peace rarely seek to claim more. They find joy in simplicity, know when to lower themselves, and bow when necessary. A ripe rice stalk often bends under its grain, while an empty stalk stands straight, proud but hollow. Humans are similar. The more experiences one gains, the more impermanence is understood. the more humble and less boastful one becomes. Humility also acts as a mirror for the inner self. A humble person does not chase praise nor grieve over criticism. They understand that everyone has strengths and weaknesses, light and shadow. Without measuring themselves against others, the mind remains serene. A wealthy person is not necessarily happier than a poor one. A successful person may not have a calmer mind than an ordinary one. Only by knowing sufficiency and living gently can one truly be free. Someone who has experienced many ups and downs once said, "In my youth, I always wanted to prove myself. Everywhere I went, I spoke of my achievements, afraid others wouldn't know my abilities. But the more I spoke, the more exhausted I became. The more I compared myself, the less sleep I got. Later, after many falls, I learned to listen, yield words, and even yield the right. Then I suddenly felt more at peace. Stability comes from a smaller ego, not from what I try to boast about. Living humbly is like a river. The further it flows downstream, the gentler it becomes, nourishing the fields along its path. The more a person learns to bow, the more they spread freshness in life around them. Humility costs nothing, yet it brings trust and love. People respect those who maintain gentleness, for they radiate maturity and generosity. In life, there are successes and failures. Success should not lead to arrogance, and failure should not lead to despair. Humility helps maintain balance in both. The humble are not swayed by praise, nor drowned by criticism. They move through life lightly, like the wind, peacefully, like a drifting cloud. If one leaves anything behind, humility is perhaps the most precious gift. It makes others feel approachable, nurtures lasting relationships, and brings peace to our hearts. The arrogant may attract attention, but the humble are loved, and love is what endures. In Buddhist teachings, humility is also non-self. It means not clinging to the I, not elevating oneself above others, nor demeaning anyone. Each person is a speck of dust in the vast universe. Learning to bow is learning to see the true value in oneself and others. Living humbly reduces suffering. No more scrambling or competing. The mind naturally finds peace. Life becomes peaceful because a humble heart fosters gentle relationships, free of anger and envy. Wherever we go, we carry tranquility, and wherever we pass, we leave a gentle stillness behind. When we leave this world, wealth and fame cannot follow. Only a kind smile, humility, and a compassionate heart remain in the memories of others. This is the most beautiful, profound, and enduring mark we can leave. People often think that amassing wealth, money, and possessions brings peace and happiness. But the more we hoard and cling, the more anxious and fearful we become. Material things are merely shadows. They exist but are not real. We think we hold them, but the tighter we grasp, the more they slip away. Buddha taught that all things are impermanent. If the body itself cannot be kept forever, how can external possessions last? Yet we often mistakenly believe wealth will provide security. We store, calculate, and compare, only to one day realize the more we cling, the more exhausted the mind becomes. Clinging to material things is like holding on to a shadow. You see it but can never grasp it. The wise are not those who have much, but those who know sufficiency. Knowing sufficiency does not mean not striving, but it means not letting material things govern happiness. When we know enough, a simple meal tastes good, a small house feels warm. Conversely, those who do not know sufficiency may have endless treasure, yet their hearts remain empty and anxious. Buddhism teaches that the root of suffering is desire, anger, and delusion. When our craving for material things is endless, our hearts become like a bottomless well, never full. How can there be peace? But if we learn to let go and smile at the present, we realize happiness does not lie in possessions, but in a calm mind, a clear intellect, and a kind heart. Some people spend their entire lives accumulating wealth, only to end up with nothing. Others chase after material possessions, but in the end, cannot preserve their health or maintain close relationships. All of it is like clouds drifting across the sky. Here one moment, gone the next. The most precious things a person can truly hold on to are a kind heart, sincere love, and clear wisdom to navigate life's ups and downs. Healing the soul begins with seeing this truth clearly. When we understand that material things are merely shadows, we suffer less when they are lost and worry less when they are unattainable. The mind becomes lighter, life becomes calmer. We can live contentedly with what is enough, using the rest to share and to love. Happiness then arises not from possession, but from giving. Those who can let go of attachment to material things are truly wealthy. Wealth does not lie in possessions, but in inner peace. They live freely, without jealousy, without resentment, without chasing after fleeting luxuries beyond reach. They are like a gentle river, flowing continuously without noise, without boasting, quietly nourishing the fields and lands along its banks. Life teaches us that shadows can never replace substance. Wealth is merely a means, not an end. Material things are only aids, not true happiness. Real happiness lies in a heart that knows contentment, appreciation, and love. Those who understand this stop chasing, stop losing their way, and find themselves again. You see, when we cease clinging to material things, we truly touch freedom, the freedom of a mind unbound, uncarried away, and not controlled by external forces. Only then can we live fully in each moment, smile at the morning sun, find peace with the afternoon breeze, rest in the present, and feel happiness in every breath. One afternoon, stopping at a roadside cafe, eyes following the hurried passersby, the heart suddenly felt heavy. Some were frantic with their phones, others buried in paperwork, every face tinged with tension. A few paused to sip tea quickly, then rushed away as if afraid of falling behind life's rhythm. Watching them, one might ask, what are we truly living for? To chase what we do not yet have, or to find peace in what already exists? Life is fragile and short. A falling petal, a passing breeze, a fleeting rain. Each reminds us that time waits for no one. Some are healthy today, yet a sudden illness leaves them weak. Some are full of plans, yet one unexpected event leaves them unfinished. Still, through the years, many chase fame and wealth, forgetting that the most precious things are each peaceful breath, each moment of life we still possess. Fame and wealth are like the reflection of the moon on water. The more we reach for it, the more it slips away. People often think that more money or higher status brings happiness, yet the more we have, the more we fear losing it, the more restless we become. A small home, a warm meal, a deep sleep, these are true happiness. Yet ironically, we often overlook these simple joys in pursuit of success, which we sometimes cannot even define for ourselves. Someone once spoke of his father. All his life, he devoted himself to work, leaving home early each morning and returning late at night. He worked tirelessly, hoping his family would one day be secure and his children happy. But when his career finally saw some success, his hair had turned white, his health depleted. Family meals, afternoon walks with his children, all had passed and would never return. The child looked at his father and sighed. Fame and wealth can buy many things, but they cannot buy back youth, nor extend time. Fame and wealth are double-edged swords. They can help us advance, but they can also trap us in an endless cycle. Those driven by ambition are never satisfied. Having one, they desire 10. Having 10, they desire 100. Life becomes a never-ending race. One day, looking back, we realize we missed countless warm moments, a parent's gentle smile, a child's innocent gaze, or a peaceful afternoon with a loved one. In Buddhist teachings, all fame and wealth are impermanent. They come and go like clouds in the sky. Clinging only brings more suffering. When we let go, the heart truly feels free. A human life, even long, spans only a few decades. No matter how much money or how many titles we amass, we must eventually leave them behind. What we can truly carry with us are the good deeds we sow, the love we give, and the peace in every moment we live. Someone once said, "Better to live one day in peace than 100 days in splendor but unease." It sounds simple, but with age and experience, its depth becomes clear. Peace does not come from fame or wealth, but from a contented heart. When we stop measuring, stop chasing illusions, we can sit quietly to hear the wind, watch the sunset, or smile at a wildflower by the roadside. One early morning, birds chirping in the garden, soft sunlight filtering through the leaves, a cup of hot tea in hand, the heart at ease, listening to one's own breath. In that moment, who could deny it is happiness? Happiness has always been right here. We only forget it while chasing fame and wealth. Life is truly short. Do not wait until your hair turns gray, your strength fades, to realize you have wasted youth in meaningless races. Do not wait until your last breath to regret never having lived a single day in true peace. Live simply, know contentment, love abundantly. This is how we transform our brief time on earth into a meaningful journey. People often have the habit of thinking too much about the future. Every day we dive into work, worry, plan, accumulate, and save, hoping that one day we will truly be happy. We tell ourselves, when I have more money, I will be at peace. When my career succeeds, I will be relaxed. When I build a house, I will feel secure. Yet that day may never come, or if it does, we may have already lost countless beautiful moments along the way. In Buddhist teachings, happiness does not lie in tomorrow, nor in what we hope to achieve in the future, but in the present moment. Every breath, every step can become a gift if we learn to return to it. True joy is not the result of long-term accumulation for an uncertain day, but the ability to enjoy the simple things around us right now. When we learn to dwell in the present, even a cup of warm tea can soothe the heart. A child's laughter can soften the soul. Morning sunlight or a gentle breeze can feel like magic. But when the mind constantly chases after tomorrow, we unknowingly reject the beauty that is already here before us. The Buddha once taught, do not seek the past, do not long for the future. Abide firmly in the present moment. For the past has gone and cannot be changed. The future has not yet arrived and cannot be grasped. Only the present truly belongs to us. So why do we forget life's most precious gift? People often think that saving and accumulating ensures safety for tomorrow. But in truth, the greatest security comes from a heart that knows how to live fully today. Tomorrow may turn out very differently from what we anticipate. Those who hoard too much for a day that has not yet arrived often lose the beauty of today. And when that day finally comes, their hearts may still feel empty because they have grown accustomed to living in expectation rather than appreciation. Joy in the present does not mean living carelessly, ignoring the future. It means balance, working wholeheartedly in the present while retaining the ability to experience happiness right now. We work, care for family, accumulate, yet we still smile when flowers bloom, give thanks while we are healthy, and love while we have each other. Those who live in the present know how to heal themselves. When the mind rests in the now, anxiety and fear dissolve. We no longer chase after what has not yet arrived, nor are we haunted by what is past. We return to ourselves, to the peace that already resides within. And then every passing moment becomes a simple yet enduring joy. There is a profound truth. Happiness is not a destination, but the path itself. When we walk with a peaceful heart, every step becomes blissful. When we sow a smile today, we have already gathered enough happiness for tomorrow. An uncertain future can never be guaranteed, but a fully lived today forms the firmest foundation for all that is to come. One day, when we look back, we will not regret that we lacked wealth or fame, but we may regret not living fully in moments of love. Regret for not hugging our parents enough, for not speaking words of affection to loved ones, for not savoring the singing birds, the morning sun, the rain. These are the true treasures money cannot buy. Therefore, joy in the present is the key to happiness. Appreciating today lightens the burden of tomorrow. Finding ease in the now makes us strong enough to face whatever comes. Then our mind is like a still lake, reflecting the blue sky, undisturbed by worries. You see, we do not need to wait for some distant day to be happy. Happiness is right here, in our breath, in a smile, in every moment of life. By returning, appreciating, and opening our hearts, we realize that the present is the most magical gift of all. Some afternoons, when the slanting sunlight falls on old rooftops, a gentle melancholy may rise. Time passes, the sunlight fades day by day, and so does life. Not long ago, we were carefree children. In the blink of an eye, we become adults, then slowly age. Ultimately, we all reach the final point, death. Death may seem frightening, but in truth, it is the most inevitable reality that no one can escape. No matter how wealthy or powerful, no one can use money or status to prolong life by a single day. No matter how wise, no one can reverse the wheel of impermanence. At the moment of closing our eyes, all fame, wealth, position, and relationships are let go. The only thing that follows us is karma, the actions, words, and thoughts we have sown. Many people spend a lifetime accumulating, storing, competing, yet in the end, they take nothing with them. Grand houses, luxury cars, overflowing wealth, all left behind for others. Our bodies return to dust. What truly carries on are the seeds of the deeds we have sown, good or bad. Like seeds, good deeds bloom fragrant flowers. Bad deeds yield bitter fruits. There was an old man who lived simply in the village. He was not wealthy, but he always lived harmoniously, often helping his neighbors. Anyone in difficulty, he willingly shared with. Anyone sick, he often visited and encouraged. When he passed away, he left little in terms of possessions, yet at his funeral, the whole village came to see him off. People cried not only out of sorrow, but also because they knew he had left them an example of a beautiful life. After he was gone, reminders of his kindness lived on. That was the true wealth he carried with him. Good karma. Meanwhile, there are also people who are rich and successful, but when they lie down for the last time, the area around their coffin is quiet. Those who come are not out of love or remembrance, but merely out of courtesy. The fame and wealth they once had, the money they possessed, are soon forgotten. What remains in the hearts of others are only the wounds caused by their selfishness, greed, or harshness. That too is karma, but heavy karma, bringing suffering to themselves and those around them. Death, from another perspective, is a gentle reminder. O human, your time is limited. Do not waste it on meaningless things. Do not only gather for yourself and forget to sow goodness. For one day, when lying down for the last time, what we have done will reflect like a mirror, bright or dark, warm or cold, it all depends on us. Therefore, live each day as if it were your last, not to be pessimistic, but to appreciate life. Knowing that death will inevitably come, we live more sincerely, love more deeply, and compete less. A kind word, an outstretched hand, a warm smile. These may seem small, but they are the seeds of goodness we carry with us. In teachings, there is a saying, the greatest wealth of a person is virtue. This virtue does not fall from the sky, but is accumulated day by day. From treating family and friends kindly, to being honest at work, from letting go of anger, to cultivating gratitude for what we have, every small act, if sown with a good heart, contributes to good karma. Death is not frightening if we live a full, meaningful life. What is frightening is to live wastefully, only realizing at the end that we have not done anything meaningful. Haven't apologized, haven't forgiven, haven't loved. By then, regret is too late. Consider a falling leaf. It detaches from the branch, returns to the soil, and nourishes new growth. Humans are similar. Departure is not the end, but a continuation. What we leave behind is karma. If it is good karma, it nourishes happiness in the next life. If it is bad karma, it becomes an obstacle, making the journey ahead heavy. Thus, while death is far away, we must live beautifully. While death has not arrived, we must sow good deeds. Do not wait for wealth to do good. Do not wait for success to live virtuously. A shared meal, a comforting smile, a sincere word of encouragement, these are already enough to plant seeds of goodness in the soul. Ultimately, death is not the final period, but a silent pause to reflect. It reminds us that nothing follows us except good karma. So why not live in a way that when we depart, our hearts are light, our lips smile, and around us are tears of love, not regret? There are people who possess little wealth, whose homes are modest, whose meals and clothing are just enough. Yet when you are near them, you feel an unusual peace, a warm smile, a generous heart. For they are poor materially, but rich in love. And it is this love that creates true happiness. The Buddha taught that material wealth is merely a means, not an end. Possessions can make life easier, but they cannot bring lasting peace. A person with much money is not necessarily happy, but one who knows love and sharing will surely find peace. Love is an inexhaustible treasure. When we give love, we do not lose. Rather, we receive even more. A smile, a hug, a sincere encouragement, sometimes more precious than gold or silver. Those who are poor materially but rich in love understand this clearly. They may only have a simple bowl of rice, yet they are willing to share. They may live in a small house, yet their hearts are vast. And in that vast heart, happiness is nurtured each day. In life, we are easily caught in the whirlwind of desire, wanting more, better, fuller. But the more we have, the more we fear losing it. Thus, peace does not come from wealth, but from knowing sufficiency. The materially poor but loving are the clearest evidence of this truth. They have little to lose, so they live freely. They do not cling to money, so their minds are light. They invest in love, and thus never fear poverty. Buddhism teaches that everything external is impermanent. It appears, then disappears. Nothing lasts. Material possessions, fame, status, like bubbles on a river, they vanish in an instant. Only love, compassion, and kindness truly stay with us. When we close our eyes, wealth cannot follow, but the merit from love will accompany us on the endless journey. Those who are materially poor but rich in love are also those who know how to heal themselves. They do not let their minds be trapped in guilt or lack, but open their hearts to connect with others. They heal themselves through sharing, and they heal others through kindness. In their gentle eyes, in their innocent smiles, we see a wealth that no gold can match, the richness of the soul. A simple bowl of vegetable soup, yet filled with love, can warm the heart more than a grand feast devoid of affection. A small home, yet full of laughter, is more precious than 1,000 cold palaces. When we have love, we have everything. Without love, even possessing the whole world, the heart still feels lonely. In everyday life, we often witness poor people living very happily. A hardworking mother, laboring day in and day out, still smiles when she sees her children healthy and obedient. An elderly man with white hair, owning nothing but kindness, is loved wherever he goes. These people teach us that happiness cannot be bought. It is sown from a heart that knows how to love. The wisdom of simple living is clear. Happiness does not lie in how much we have, but in how much we can love. Love others, love ourselves, love life. Love expressed in small actions, gentle words, and quiet empathy. Love nurtures the soul, making life light and peaceful. You may not have much wealth, but if you know how to open your heart, you are richer than many. You may not build a castle, but if you build trust, you have created a great home. You may not give money, but if you offer a smile, a listening ear, you have planted seeds of happiness in others' hearts. And in that moment, you have also received happiness yourself. Those who are materially poor but rich in love demonstrate that happiness does not need to be sought far away. It exists right in the heart that knows how to give, share, and love. And this is also a profound message from Buddhist teachings. The greatest wealth in life is not in your pocket, but in your heart. When the heart is full of love, we are the richest of all. There is a strange truth in life. Not everyone with money, houses, or possessions is truly happy. Some ride luxury cars and live in splendid villas, yet their hearts are heavy and uneasy. Meanwhile, others eat simple meals of rice and pickled vegetables, yet laughter rings through the home, and sleep each night is peaceful. People often think that being poor is suffering and being rich is bliss. But if you look closely, suffering and joy do not lie in your wallet, but within the heart. The materially wealthy who lack peace of mind often suffer more than the poor, for wealth without tranquility becomes a burden. Some worry constantly about loss. Each night, despite soft beds and warm blankets, they toss and turn, fearing tomorrow's failures, losing investments, or vanishing money. Their hearts are always tense, like a string about to snap. They gain much, yet lose sleep, eat well, yet taste nothing, go everywhere, yet live in worry and vigilance. What does such wealth bring but anxiety? On the other hand, some may be poor materially, yet their hearts are light. In the morning, they enjoy a simple meal, then go to work with a smile. At night, returning home, sitting with family, hearing children laugh, they feel complete. Not rich in possessions, but rich in peace, and that peace is worth more than all the gold in the world. Once someone shared, "When I was young, our family was very poor. Every meal had only a bowl of vegetable soup and a plate of pickled vegetables. Yet every meal was filled with laughter. Now that we are better off, the table is full of delicious food, but sometimes it feels cold, with less laughter than before. This seemingly simple story touches the truth. Wealth without peace is still poverty. Ancient wisdom reminds us, material wealth can satisfy the body, but only peace nourishes the soul. The body may wear fine clothes and eat sumptuous meals, but without inner peace, life is still lacking. The wealthy who lack tranquility are bound by ambition, comparison, and fear of loss. The more they have, the more they worry. The more they worry, the more uneasy they become. The poor, if content, gain freedom. Though they have little, they are not burdened. They laugh when joyful, sleep when tired, live simply without heaviness. This is true wealth, wealth of the soul. There is a story of two friends meeting after many years. One is successful, wealthy, but with a gloomy face, saying each day is exhausting due to pressure. The other lives simply, working a modest job, yet with bright eyes, saying though they have little money, meals are good, sleep is restful, and the heart feels at peace. Upon parting, the rich friend sighed, "It turns out what I lack is exactly what you have, peace of mind." This reminds us that wealth is not the measure of happiness. Happiness comes from contentment, from inner peace. Those who cherish what they have, even little, feel abundant. Those who chase what they do not have, even much, feel lacking. There lies the source of suffering. So how do we attain peace? Look inward. Compare less, desire less, compete less. Live sufficiently, share generously, place love above gain. When the heart knows how to let go and be gentle, even poverty feels rich. In truth, material poverty has never been frightening. What is frightening is poverty of the heart, poverty of love, of compassion, of peace. The materially wealthy, yet spiritually poor, suffer more than the humble, yet content. In the end, happiness does not lie in how much we possess, but in whether the heart is at peace. For in the end, when we close our eyes, money cannot follow. Only a heart that has truly lived, that has loved and shared, brings serenity. So instead of endlessly accumulating, learn to live in peace. Instead of focusing only on external wealth, nurture the richness within. That is the true everlasting wealth that nothing can take away. Have you ever wondered why we feel tired? Why our hearts feel heavy? It is not necessarily because of external difficulties, but largely because of the desires within our own minds. We want more, better, and often do not know where to stop. The more we cling, the more cramped we feel. The more attached we are, the more restless the mind becomes. Only when we release our desires does the soul truly find tranquility, clear and fresh like a cool stream. The Buddha taught, desire is like fire. The more fuel you add, the more it blazes. Greed is never satisfied. Today we want one thing, tomorrow another. Endless craving keeps us running, always tired, yet never at peace. Only when we have the courage to stop, to let go, can we feel true relief. Letting go of desire does not mean abandoning everything or living in extreme asceticism. Letting go here means releasing attachment, clinging, and the endless craving that causes suffering. When we have a meal, we appreciate it rather than compare it to something better. When we have a small house, we are grateful for its shelter rather than envy someone else's palace. Knowing contentment is the root of happiness. Those who know enough feel sufficient even with little. Those who do not know enough feel lacking even with much. In life, some people are materially poor but mentally at ease because they desire little. They find joy in simple things, a fresh morning, a warm cup of tea, a friendly greeting. Conversely, some are wealthy but always uneasy, plagued by fear of loss and insatiable longing. Between the two, who is truly happy? Letting go of desire is also a way of self-healing. Desire makes the mind irritable, tense, prone to affliction. But when we release, our hearts become gentle, compassionate, and tolerant. Like a clear stream unclouded by mud, naturally pure and cool. When the human heart is not muddied by greed, anger, and delusion, it naturally attains peace and serenity. In Buddhism, letting go is the key to liberation. The Buddha renounced golden palaces and all worldly treasures to seek the truth. And he found ultimate peace because he was no longer bound by any attachment. While we cannot be the Buddha, we can learn from him. Reduce unnecessary desires, appreciate what we have, and slow down to enjoy the present. Happiness does not lie in how much we hold, but in how much we can let go. The more we release, the freer we are. The less we crave, the easier it is to feel content. A mind that knows how to let go is a peaceful, open mind. Have you ever sat by the porch, watching clouds drift across the sky, and felt a strange calm? That peace cannot be bought with money nor exchanged for power. It only comes when the mind settles, no longer chasing endless demands. This is simple yet profound happiness. The ancients said, knowing contentment is constant joy. Contentment here does not mean material sufficiency, but sufficiency of the heart. When we stop comparing and stop over-desiring, we realize we already have more than we think. A calm breath, a healthy body, a companion, a loving family. These seemingly ordinary things are priceless treasures. If the mind is a garden, desire is the weeds. The more they grow, the more barren the garden becomes. But if we remove some weeds and nurture flowers and fruit, the garden will bloom with fragrance and color. Letting go of desire is also a way to cleanse the garden of the mind, allowing the flowers of compassion and wisdom to flourish. Friend, life is short. We come and go like the wind. Money, fame, material possessions cannot follow us. The only thing that remains is whether our mind is at peace or heavy. If we release desire, we leave behind a clear stream in life, refreshing to all who encounter it, bringing serenity to ourselves as well. Then you will realize happiness has never been far. It is right in this moment, when the heart lets go, when the mind is still, like a cool stream in a silent forest. Someone once said, fame and wealth are like waves in the sea. The more you chase, the more exhausted you become. Only when you let go do you find peace. At first it may sound like a metaphor, but the more we live and experience, the truer it becomes. Fame and wealth are things people tirelessly pursue. From waking in the morning to lying down at night, many worry, how much money did I make today? Will I get promoted tomorrow? What do others think of me? Is my status respected? Days, months, and years pass, and the heart is always tense like a stretched string, rarely at ease. Some say it is not wrong to work for fame and wealth. That is true, for everyone needs food, clothing, and a place in society. But the problem is, the more we chase, the more we feel lacking. Like running after a wave, the harder we try to catch it, the more it surges, pushes, and exhausts us. Some spend their whole lives striving for fame, standing at the top under the spotlight, applause resounds. But at night when alone, the heart feels empty. For that fame, however dazzling, is only external. It is like a wave crashing onto the shore, appearing strong, but when it recedes, only white foam remains. There are also those who spend their entire lives saving to accumulate great wealth. Yet the more they have, the more they worry about holding on, the more they fear losing it. Sleepless nights, anxious days, life becomes like living in an invisible prison. People think they are rich, but in truth, they are the poor, lacking freedom. On the other hand, there are those who know how to let go. They do not let fame or fortune bind them, nor measure happiness by the opinions of others. They work wholeheartedly, live sincerely, and let things unfold according to their course. Therefore, they carry a gentle smile, sleep peacefully, and have an open heart. Once, someone shared about their father, a simple laborer. All his life, he had no fame, no status, no wealth, but he had simple joys, eating with his family, hearing the wind blow, sipping warm tea in the morning. At the end of his life, he passed away in peace, unburdened. Looking back, it turns out he was richer than many who had stood in grandeur, but left life with regrets. Fame and wealth are not inherently bad. They only become burdens when we cling too tightly. If we treat them as part of life, welcoming them with joy and letting them go lightly, we will not be swept away by their waves. It is like standing by the sea, watching the waves, listening to them, but not chasing after them. In the wisdom of life, people often say, peace comes through letting go. Letting go does not mean abandoning everything, but keeping the mind calm amid gain or loss, success or failure. When we release, the heart lightens and life naturally becomes peaceful. Many believe that life is meaningless without fame or fortune. But in reality, the meaning of life lies in how sincerely we live, how much love we give, and how many good deeds we accomplish. Fame will fade, wealth will disappear, but true happiness remains in every moment we live fully. Someone once said, "Fame and fortune are like waves. Chasing them only brings exhaustion." Indeed. But the precious thing is that if we know when to stop, if we know how to let go, the waves no longer disturb us. Then our hearts are like a calm lake, reflecting clouds and sky, peaceful in a rare way. In the end, everyone must leave everything behind at the close of a life. Fame cannot be carried, money cannot be kept. What remains is character, kindness, and the peace we have sown in life. So instead of chasing endless waves, it is better to sit calmly by the shore, listen, smile, and let the waves pass. There are those who spend their lives frantically accumulating, from money to status, from possessions to reputation, yet never feel enough. They think that just a little more will bring contentment, but the more they have, the more lacking they feel. Conversely, some possess little, yet each day they wear a gentle smile and appreciate every small thing. They understand that true fullness has never been in the pocket, but in the heart. The Buddha said, "Knowing contentment is the greatest wealth." This saying is gentle, yet holds infinite wisdom. A person may have countless possessions, but if their heart is always measuring, envious, or comparing, they still feel lacking. Meanwhile, someone who has just enough food, clothing, a shelter, and love to warm the heart already feels complete. Rich or poor, satisfied or suffering, all depends not on the pocket but on the mind's perception. When the mind is greedy, even the whole world cannot satisfy us. When the mind knows contentment, even a simple meal or a sip of water brings full happiness. It is the perspective and the mind's steadiness that determine life's value. The more people chase material things, the deeper they fall into insecurity. The more they return inward, the easier it is to find peace. In Buddhism, the virtue of Trituk, knowing enough, is the root of tranquility. Those who know enough are not swept into the whirlpool of competition or tormented by ambition. Knowing enough does not mean ceasing effort, but striving with calm, appreciating the present. We work wholeheartedly, yet do not sacrifice peace to satisfy endless ambition. When we succeed, we smile with gratitude. When we lose, we accept it calmly. Contentment of the heart is also a healing balm. Knowing enough frees us from comparing ourselves to others. We stop chasing the flashy standards society imposes. We realize that the true value of life does not lie in numbers in a bank account, but in serenity, compassion, and tolerance within the soul. The richest person is one with a generous heart, willing to share, willing to love. Do you remember a time when a simple meal with family made you feel unusually warm? Or a quiet afternoon watching the sunset, feeling at peace? Those moments require no wealth, yet they bring true richness. It is the fullness from within, a fullness no material thing can replace. In the wisdom of life, knowing enough is also knowing appreciation. When we cherish a flower, it seems endlessly beautiful. When we are grateful for a friend, they become a precious gift. When we love our family, we live in a treasure. If we chase only grand things outside, we risk overlooking simple yet perfectly complete moments right beside us. People often say, money can buy a bed, but not peaceful sleep. Money can buy medicine, but not health. Money can buy luxury, but not tranquility. True fullness of the heart is an inexhaustible treasure. The more we share it, the more it grows. Friend, life is like a short journey. We cannot carry money with us in the end, but we can carry a peaceful heart. Money may be lost, but a contented mind never runs dry. When the mind is open, we realize, as long as we can smile in the present, live with compassion, and feel gratitude, that is the greatest wealth of all. In truth, true fullness is not far away. It lies right within your heart, in your breath, in each moment you pause and appreciate. This fullness cannot be measured, nor bought or sold. It can only be felt by a calm soul, by a heart that knows how to love. And when you recognize this inner fullness, you will find the world becomes lighter, warmer. You will walk through life with a relaxed smile, like a cool stream flowing through the mountains, pure, serene, needing nothing, lacking nothing. Someone once said that a compassionate heart is worth more than 1,000 pieces of gold. At first, it may sound like gentle advice, but as life unfolds, we realize it is a simple yet profound truth. Gold and silver are valuable, but only for buying, sustaining, or storing. They make life convenient, but do not guarantee happiness. In contrast, a kind act, a heart willing to share, can change someone's life, even warm an entire life that feels unstable. Once, on the way home from work, a person saw an elderly man struggling with a heavy load by the roadside. The sun was blazing, sweat running down his weathered face. Though the passerby didn't have enough money to buy all the goods, they stopped and helped carry the load up the hill. Only a short distance, yet the old man's eyes brightened. A smile appeared on his wrinkled face. That was a moment of kindness, its value far surpassing any money. Compassion does not need to be grand. Sometimes it is simply a gentle question, an attentive gaze, a hug that soothes unspoken pain. Some live their entire lives in loneliness, lacking a helping hand, lacking an empathetic heart. When they encounter kindness, it warms them as if in the cold of winter. Money can buy a good meal, but compassion can help someone hungry regain faith in life. Money can buy a house, but compassion builds a home. Money may earn outward respect, but compassion sows lasting love in another's heart. There are those who are very wealthy, yet when they pass, all they leave are numbers in a bank, scarcely remembered. Yet some leave no material wealth, and their goodness is remembered forever. A single act of giving from the heart can leave a lifelong mark on someone. One rainy afternoon, a person hurried to take shelter under a roof. Beside them was a shivering child, drenched. They took off their coat and wrapped it around the child. A small act, yet for that child, it was priceless, a gift of compassion warmer than any money. In truth, compassion is not just for others, it is also a gift to oneself. When we open our hearts, the soul feels lighter, less selfish, less narrow. We learn to love more, and in that love, we are healed. A hand extended not only supports others, but lifts our own heart as well. The principle of life is simple. Wealth will fade, gold will vanish, but compassion remains. It accompanies us in every action and spreads to others, sowing seeds that grow into trees, into forests. Some think that one must be rich to do good, but compassion is not bound to wealth. Sharing half a cake, offering a glass of water, a smile of encouragement, all are acts of compassion. Sometimes these small gestures carry more value than expensive gifts. Reflecting on life, what people remember is not how much gold we had, but how much compassion we left behind. One day when we no longer exist, people may not recall the numbers in our accounts, but they will remember a time we helped, a word we offered, a love we shared. Compassion is the true treasure. It cannot be locked in a safe, it cannot be weighed, yet it fills countless hearts. Every time we give, this treasure grows a little more within us. Ultimately, we understand, gold shines under lamps, but compassion shines forever in the dark. Gold can buy many things, but never inner peace. Compassion, on the other hand, it cannot be bought or sold, only given. And in giving, it makes us truly wealthy. That is why it is said, a compassionate heart is worth more than 1,000 pieces of gold. Some walk among crowds, surrounded by laughter, yet deep within feel a cold emptiness. They may hold power, own great wealth, receive praise, but when night falls and they face themselves, they still feel suffocated by loneliness. These are often the people who live for fame and fortune, for in their eyes, others are no longer companions or kindred spirits, but merely tools for their pursuit of power and self-interest. The Buddha once taught, those who make fame and fortune their foundation will find suffering following them like a shadow follows the body. Indeed, when the mind is oriented toward fame and wealth, people easily forget love and neglect sincerity. They calculate every relationship, viewing others through the lens of gain and loss. A friend is no longer a heart to share with, but a bridge to cross. A relationship is no longer a bond of support, but a chessboard to arrange moves. The more one lives this way, the more isolated they become in a world they themselves have built. Perhaps outwardly they are surrounded by many people, but consider this. Why do those people stay? For genuine affection or for the benefits they receive? Once fame and fortune pass, those people vanish too, leaving a vast emptiness. Then they realize that what seemed so solid all along was nothing but fragile smoke. Meanwhile, those who live with love and sincerity, even without high status, never lack meaningful connections. A kind inquiry, a hand held in difficulty, a sharing glance, all contribute to a fullness that money cannot buy. True friendship, pure love, family bonds, these are the real treasures. Those with wealth but lacking love are impoverished indeed. Those with little material wealth but rich in human connection are infinitely wealthy. Buddhism teaches that greed, anger, and delusion are the roots leading humans into suffering. Fame and fortune are not inherently bad, but when treated as the ultimate goal, they become chains of captivity. Those consumed by fame and wealth are inevitably drawn into greed. The greed for recognition, the greed to surpass others, the greed for praise. This greed leads to comparison, envy, and turns relationships that could have been refuges into cold negotiations. And what do they pay for it? Peace of mind. No matter how much they gain, they still feel lacking. No matter how much they are praised, they fear being forgotten. Even at the peak, they tremble with anxiety over the day they might fall. People who live this way can never escape the shadow of loneliness. In life, valuing people over fame and fortune is the foundation of happiness. Only love connects hearts, while wealth binds only shadows. When you treat others with sincerity, they remember you with their hearts. But if you see them merely as tools, when those tools fail, you lose them too. There is a small story in the Zen tradition. A master asked his disciple, "If you have great wealth but cannot take it with you at death, does that wealth truly belong to you?" The disciple was silent. The master asked again, "If you have many friends, but they are only around when you are beneficial to them, are they truly your friends?" The disciple bowed his head, tears falling. The master smiled gently. True wealth is the heart. True friends are those who journey with love. What can accompany you to the end is not fame or fortune, but genuine connections and a peaceful mind. These teachings shine like a torch. Ultimately, what remains with us is not reputation or profit, but how we have lived, how we have loved, and how much we have cherished others. Those who live with love are never lonely. Those who place fame and fortune above all will eventually find themselves alone in the emptiness of their pursuits. Dear friend, life is short. Fame and wealth are but dust in the wind of impermanence. Love, sincerity, and sharing, these are what nourish the soul. If you can live with an open heart, seeing each person as a precious connection rather than a tool, you have found true treasure, and then you will see that you are never truly alone. Around you are always sincere hearts, grateful souls, hands that hold yours when needed. That is a fullness no fame or fortune can replace. There is a simple truth that anyone who has walked through life's ups and downs gradually realizes. Those who live for love always have companions, always are cherished. Love is like a lamp. The brighter it shines, the more light it attracts from other lamps. Those with loving hearts, wherever they go, spread warmth, and that warmth connects them to countless other hearts. In a small neighborhood, someone quietly helps neighbors. When someone is sick, they visit. When children go to school far away, they send small gifts. Nothing grand, just daily acts of care. Yet gradually the whole community grows fond of them. When they face difficulties, no one needs to be told. Everyone naturally comes forward. Some lend a hand, some contribute a little. Seeing this, one realizes love given is never lost. It silently binds hearts together. Love is also like a seed. Those who plant and nurture it will eventually reap its rewards. One afternoon, a passerby notices an elderly man struggling with a broken bicycle. They stop, crouch down, adjust the chain, wipe the oil from their hands. The old man thanks them with his eyes, and the passerby continues with a gentle smile. A small gesture, yet tomorrow or years later, they may receive help from a stranger. Love spreads like ripples on water, multiplying naturally. The world is vast and ever-changing, yet one thing remains constant. Human beings always yearn to be loved and accompanied. A person who lives only for themselves, clinging tightly to personal gain, may achieve some success, but often feels empty. In contrast, those who live for love connect with kindred souls wherever they go, creating a warm home amidst life's cold currents. Wealth and fame may draw people close, but such attachments are fragile. When money runs out and fame fades, those who came for personal gain quietly leave. Love, however, is different. It keeps people close through sincerity and without conditions. Those who live with love, whether rich or poor, always have loyal companions and are cherished by others. Once a sudden downpour flooded the streets. While many were busy protecting their belongings, one person opened their door to shelter a neighbor from the rain. That neighbor remembered the kindness forever. Later, when the kind soul needed help, those once sheltered returned without hesitation, standing by their side. This is a clear example of a simple life truth. Love given will one day return, sometimes multiplied. Those who live with love are not only cherished by others, but also find relief within themselves. When our hearts are full of love, we feel less anger, less comparison, less resentment. We learn forgiveness, empathy, and therefore experience greater peace of mind. A heart full of love is like a stream, washing away dust and watering the grass wherever it flows. Deep down, everyone longs for companionship. No one wants to walk alone along life's long road. Those with love are never truly lonely, for they have sown the seeds that draw friends back to them. Their companions stay not out of self-interest, but from genuine affection. Love acts as a bridge, a boat bringing people closer together. Life is short. Ultimately, we carry nothing but the impressions left in the hearts of others. If we live with love, warm memories will remain even after we are gone. Smiles will be remembered. Perhaps this is the most beautiful form of immortality. Immortality in the love shared among people. Thus, living a simple life filled with love is far more precious than endless cold wealth. Those who live with love always have companions and are cherished, for they touch the deepest human need, the need to give and receive love. In the end, we realize love never disappears. It transforms into holding hands, trusting eyes, a shoulder to lean on. Through love, life's journey is never lonely. Some spend their whole lives gathering wealth and building fame, as if these were the only keys to happiness. Yet when they pass away, they take nothing, neither gold, land, nor title. What remains, what accompanies them from birth to death, is the wholesome or unwholesome intentions they have sown. Material fame is external. Only a good heart truly travels with us forever. The Buddha once said, "All things of the body are impermanent. Only one's karma, good or bad, remains." This teaching serves as a warning, reminding us not to mistake status or wealth as a firm foundation. These things are like clouds in the sky, gathering and dispersing, impossible to hold. Only the goodness in the heart forms the root of peace, leaving a fragrant legacy even after the body perishes. Some ask, how can one live without fame and wealth? Material things are not inherently bad. We need food, clothing, and shelter to sustain life. The issue lies in whether we see them as tools or as ends in themselves. When used as means to nourish the body, help others, and benefit the community, they become blessings. But when treated as ultimate goals, they turn into chains, causing endless suffering. Consider someone chasing after fame and fortune. They may acquire much, but worry lurks in their eyes. They fear loss, fear being surpassed, fear that tomorrow will take away what they hold today. That fear exhausts them. In contrast, a person with a wholesome heart, even without much wealth, lives calmly and freely. They know the most precious thing is not out there, but in the way they live, in their compassion, in their sincerity toward others. Buddhism guides us back to this peace. Sitting quietly, listening to the breath, we realize that we are already enough. By letting go of excessive ambition, we feel lighter. Instead of thinking only of ourselves, we learn to consider others. When we see someone suffering, our hearts respond with compassion, reaching out to help. Even small acts of kindness, a smile, a comforting word, a quiet gesture, are seeds sown in the heart. Once planted, these seeds accompany us throughout life's journey. In the wisdom of life, it is said, wealth is like worn out sandals. Once broken, discard them. Love is like water. The more you give, the more it flows. Indeed, money can buy a big house, but not warmth. Fame may command bows, but cannot create genuine affection. Only a kind heart opens the doors of the heart, forging enduring and meaningful bonds. We can try to look back. When facing difficulties, what do we need most? Perhaps it is an outstretched hand, a word of encouragement, a compassionate gaze. These things cannot be bought with money. They come only from genuine love. A person with a kind heart spreads love wherever they go, so that when they are weak, they are not alone. Those who are obsessed with fame and wealth, even if rich, will eventually face loneliness. There is a story in the scriptures. A wealthy king fell gravely ill, and no medicine could cure him. He suffered, knowing he was about to lose everything. A wise sage approached and said, "Your Majesty, gold and silver cannot follow you, nor can the throne. The only thing that follows you is the merit you have created. If you have lived with kindness, helped others, opened your heart, then your path ahead will be bright. If not, you carry only darkness." Hearing this, the king awakened, realizing what he had overlooked all his life. This reminder is also a lesson for each of us. Use material things as tools, but do not let them rule you. Live for love, for kindness, for what is wholesome. These are true treasures, assets that do not decay, assets that can accompany us from one life to another. Friend, perhaps today we do not have much wealth, but if we have a compassionate heart, we are already rich. Perhaps we are not famous, but if we live sincerely, we leave a mark in the hearts of others. Do not worry about lacking material possessions. Worry instead if your heart lacks love. Wealth and fame will vanish like smoke, but a good heart remains like a pure gem, illuminating the path we walk. And when our journey ends, what remains is not how wealthy we were, but how we lived with kindness, how many good deeds we did, how much we loved and shared. That is the true inheritance, the legacy we carry through life. Sometimes, people think that great gifts for life must be grand, building a monument, leaving wealth, or achieving fame. Yet, after experiencing joys and sorrows and witnessing many changes, one realizes that the most precious gift we can give is how we live, lightly, unattached, unburdened by trivial things. In daily relationships, many small incidents can trigger anger, an unintentional remark, an unfriendly glance, a petty competition. If we cling, our hearts shrink, and our minds remain trapped in a whirl of sorrow. But if we let go, everything becomes light. Like when someone bumps into us in a crowded market, rather than respond with resentment, we smile and continue. In that moment, our non-attachment preserves a sense of peace, not just for ourselves, but for the other person as well. Living lightly does not mean being weak or neglectful. It is a conscious choice. We choose peace of mind instead of holding on to frustration. We choose forgiveness instead of recording every fault. We choose to listen instead of arguing endlessly. Each such choice is like a flower, adding gentleness and warmth to life. Once in a small restaurant, a server brought the wrong dish in haste. The customer could have gotten angry, but instead smiled and said, "It's okay, just correct it." A simple sentence, yet it lit up the server's face, and their clumsy hands trembled with gratitude. Others at the table felt relief as well. In that moment, non-attachment spread, dissolving tension and turning a mistake into an opportunity for kindness. Waves of emotion often arise from small things. A critical remark may sadden us all day. An indifferent look may disturb our thoughts all night. But if we can see more broadly, we realize the other person is also facing their own worries, possibly having had a long, tiring day. Not clinging means not letting a tiny speck become a heavy stone. We keep our hearts open, allowing joy a place to rest. Living lightly and unattached is not only a gift we give to the world, but also to ourselves. When our hearts are light, we breathe deeper, sleep more peacefully, smile more often. Those around us feel the peace too, because the energy of a serene heart always radiates outward. Sometimes, just being near someone like this makes life feel less burdensome. There was an old man who often sold goods on a street corner. Passers-by sometimes haggled harshly or spoke rudely, Yet he rarely lost his temper. He would smile, pack the items, and calmly say, "Everyone has worries. I understand." This non-attachment touched many people. Gradually, they no longer bargained harshly. Some even returned more often, buying extra goods and chatting. A gentle heart can soften life's roughness. Life is short. If we constantly cling to trivial things, no lifetime is long enough to truly love. Those who can let go are at peace, and the peaceful naturally spread peace to others. Instead of adding to life's disputes and competitions, we choose to give the gift of lightness, a gift that money cannot buy. We may not leave a brilliant career behind, but if when people think of us, they say, "That person is gentle, lives lightly, doesn't cling to anyone," that alone is a beautiful legacy. A compassionate smile, a forgiving gaze, a relaxed attitude. Small gestures that are great gifts, nurturing the belief that life still holds gentleness to lean on. Living lightly, we do not try to change the whole world, but we can transform the atmosphere around us. A household with people who do not cling is peaceful. A team with such individuals works more smoothly. A stretch of life with such people makes every step easier to take. In the end, we will realize the greatest gift we give to life is not gold or silver, not status or wealth, but a heart free of attachment, a gentle smile, a life lived lightly. Because then, we not only bring peace to ourselves, but also make life feel more meaningful for those around us. Dear friend, life is short and impermanent. We pass through many years, thinking that fame, money, and status are the most important. Yet one day when we look back, we see that those things are like passing clouds, fleeting and gone. What truly remains, what lingers in the hearts of others, is the heart we leave behind, the love we share, the goodness we have sown. Non-attachment to fame, wealth, or material things does not mean denying life. It means seeing them for what they truly are. Material things are necessary for living, but they are not the foundation for defining ourselves. Fame may bring some joy, but it cannot warm a lonely heart. Only a kind heart, compassion, and sincerity can give us calm and steadiness amid life's storms. Have you noticed that a genuine smile can ease a long, tiring day? A timely word of concern can chase away deep sorrow. Even a small act of sharing can help someone regain faith in life. These simple things do not require wealth or fame. They require only a kind heart, and that is the greatest treasure any person can possess. Some people, when they pass away, leave behind no vast fortune, yet everyone remembers them for their kindness, for their warm love, for their generous hearts. They live on in memory, in the affection of many. That is true wealth, the richness of the soul, the richness of character. So today, I just want to whisper to you, do not let fame or material things become a burden on your heart. See them as tools, as a boat to cross the river. Once you reach the shore, you can gently set them down. And throughout that journey, live with kindness, sincerity, and a heart full of love. I wish you, wherever you are, whatever you are doing, that you always maintain peace in your heart. May you have the strength to let go of what weighs you down and the love to continue sowing goodness around you. May each morning when you wake, you feel your heart light as the wind, bright as the sun, and serene as a flowing river. And one day when you look back, you will smile, realizing that the most precious thing you ever had was not wealth, not praise, but the purity of a kind heart, a heart that loves and gives. And that is something no one can ever take from you. So, live like this, gently, kindly, peacefully. Then, as time passes, you will see that you have walked a meaningful journey and left behind a tender yet profound mark on the world. Thank you for listening to the sharing on the channel Let Go, Find Peace. May the past few moments bring you more calm and strength on your journey.